Hello, welcome to Dong Nai Radio and Television Station. Here comes the news today. Enterprise is at the center of sustainable development goals. Therefore, in order for the economy to achieve a growth rate of about 2.5% this year, the banking industry has been having specific solutions to support businesses.
6 months ago, during the social gap, the Paris Gâteau cake and beverage chain was almost completely closed. Having no revenue plus a 100 billion dong loan causes business difficulties. In that difficult time, businesses are allowed to reschedule their debts and reduce interest rates on banks. To date, all operations have been almost restored. After nearly 5 months of implementing Circular No. 1 of the State Bank, commercial banks have disbursed 1.6 million VND to 310,000 customers with lower interest rates, commonly from 0.5 to 2.5% compared with previous epidemic. Researching out the best and fastest disbursement options for customers, the banking industry has helped businesses revive and contribute to the province growth target of 2.5%.
The EU-Vietnam Free Trade Agreement, EVFTA, opens a promising future in Vietnam and EU relations. And after 2 months since the agreement went into effect, a number of businesses have enjoyed the first benefits.
According to the report of the Ministry of Industry and Trade, up to now, the authorized organizations have issued about 23,800 sets of CO Form EUR.1 with a turnover of about 963 million USD to 28 EU countries. Statistics of the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development show that Vietnam's agriculture, forestry and fishery exports have started to flourish. Accordingly, orders for seafood to EU in August increased by 10% in turnover over the previous month. Prices of Vietnamese rice products also improved after the EVFTA took effect. According to the Vietnam Chamber of Commerce and Industry, VCCI, in the coming time, VCCI will have many activities to guide the use of this agreement to each industry and enterprise to realize the opportunities that EVFTA brings.
Yesterday, at the headquarters of Dong Nai People's Committee, Deputy Secretary of the Provincial Party Committee and Chairman of the Provincial People's Committee, Cao Tiến-Dũng, received a symbolic board of money and objects supported and saved by Tech Quang Vina's joint stock company in Bien Hoa Industrial Park for people in central provinces who are hit by floods.
The amount of 1.7 billion VND contributed by the collective of the Board of Directors, the Executive Committee of the Trade Union, and the company's officers and employees after 1 week of calling for support and donation. Speaking at the ceremony, Chairman of the Provincial People's Committee, Cao Tiến-Dũng, acknowledged and praised the noble gesture towards the people of the central provinces that are affected by floods of the Board of Directors, Trade Union Executive Committee, and ministries and employees of Tech Quang Vina Joint Stock Company. Immediately after receiving support from Tech Quang Vina's joint stock company, Chairman of the Provincial People's Committee, Cao Tiến-Dũng, handed it over to the Provincial Red Cross for this unit to organize relief efforts for flood victims in the central region.
This morning, Vietnam time, the U.S. Senate voted to confirm the nomination of President Donald Trump to Amy Coney Barrett as Supreme Court Judge, replacing the late Judge Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
The vote was 52 to 48 for Barrett, President Trump's third nominee to the Supreme Court. A bitterly divided Senate confirmed Amy Coney Barrett as the 115th justice to the Supreme Court on Monday, elevating just the fifth woman to the court in its 231st year history and who further cements its conservative shifts. Ms. Barrett began her job as a judge in 2017 and is a judge in the U.S. 7th Federal District Court of Appeal. Barre's appointment to the position before the presidential election has met with strong opposition from Democrats because it fears that the appointment will cause the balance of power in the U.S. Supreme Court lean to conservative faction.
Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan called on Monday for Turks to boycott French goods and urged European Union leaders to halt French leader Emmanuel Macron's anti-Islam agenda, Reuters reported.
In his speech in Ankara, Erdogan said, "We see Mr. Macron's anti-Muslim and racist insults as a threat to national security." Mr. Erdogan urged the international community to protect the Muslims in France and stop Mr. Macron's hateful campaign. Several Arab companies have removed French products from supermarkets in response to Mr. Macron's claims about Islam. Qatar shops and restaurants, including national retail giant Almira, announced a boycott of French goods in protest of the comments.
That's all for the news today. Thank you for joining us and goodbye.